Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is an exciting video. We're going to be doing another first impressions. How many of these have I been doing over the last 2 years, 3 years, 2 years? 2020 is when I really started getting into some. I am going to be using the Colourpop Making Mauves Palette. This is a beautiful little mauvey neutral palette. So beautiful. Great way if you wanted to dip your toes into a little bit of colour, a little bit of mauve. And because it goes nice and dark, you can get some really nice, good, dramatic looks out of it if you want to as well. I really like this palette, but I've said this towards the end of the video as well. If the Kid You Not palette had came out around the time I bought this, I probably would have got that instead, because that's just a little bit more the tones I'm kind of into. But this is the kind of only mauvey palette that they had at the time I was filming this, or buying this one. So I'm just getting around to filming it now because I work full time. You know, I probably would have gone the more colored route. This is more neutral to me, which might suit a lot of people, but I would always kind of gravitate towards more colour. Don't get me wrong though, it is a beautiful palette. I will be popping up the swatches of this palette as we go and the close-ups and everything like that. I think the tones are beautiful. That shade a la mode, the one in the middle, the kind of rosier shimmer, beautiful. You do have what I'm assuming is a super shock. It just feels like a super shock anyway. And then you've got quite light tones. You didn't necessarily need R&R. I don't think anyway. For me, it doesn't suit my makeup kind of techniques or anything like that. But the big mauves, the light lilac, I kind of like that as well. There is two neutral mattes in here. One is a sequin shade, which means it's a matte with sparkle in it, and then the other one is just a plain matte. They're very similar because the sequins or the shimmers in the sequin shades don't usually stick to the eye as much, so they are quite similar. So that's a bit iffy, but the two shimmers look quite different, even though in the pan they actually look very similar. Just the texture makes them so much different. The Super Shock is so shiny. I do also love the packaging on this. It's very satisfying. I just really like it. So this is the look we're going to be creating in this video, but just before we get into that, my Instagram is linked down below and my TikTok is linked down below. On my Instagram, I will be posting all the up close pictures of this look soon after the video goes live, and then my TikTok is where I post all my funny, weird transitions. So without me rambling anymore, let's get into how I created this look. Okay, so we're going to get into our look. I've already got my skin on, my brows on, my eyeshadow primer done, and it's all listed down below so you can see that there. I've also got my cream contour on, which is also listed down below, but I'll show you that towards the end. We're going to jump into the Making Mauves palette. I want to do a very wingy, smoky wing sort of shape, with shimmer on the lid and all that kind of fun stuff. I want to go into like the proper mauvey sort of shades here, not really the more neutral shades, more the mauvey shades, and just see what we come up with. And I might use this guy on the inner corner because it's super reflective. It's one of the Super Shock cheeks. No, not the cheeks, the eyeshadows, but I am going to use a Super Shock cheek today. That's why I've said that, because it's in my head. So my eyeshadow primer is on, and I'm not going to go straight into shadows first. I'm actually going to go into liner straight away and create that sort of wingy shape. So for the liner, I'm going to take my sleek twist up eye pencil in the shade Aubergine. Mine's a little bit broken on the inside, but it works perfectly fine. I just have to hold it up because it'll fall out. So we're just going to twist you up a little bit, and we're just going to start drawing a winged liner as we normally would. And I'm doing this before I start my shadow because I want to kind of work my shadow around this sort of shape. It's also easier to draw straight onto primer, as you can see, than it is to draw over powders and things like that. So I'm going the whole way across my eye just so I have that shape going. Because I've got more of a rounded eye, I do have to go quite dramatic with this sort of shape. If you've got a smaller eye, or maybe like a more hooded, I would have to go quite long as well, like this. But if you've got a more almond shaped eye, you probably wouldn't have to go out this far. I'm just trying to like elongate a round shape, so that's why I have to go out far enough. And don't worry about it being neat or anything like that. We're just trying to get some sort of shape going that I can go in and blend, because I'm going to buff this out. I'm going to blend shadows into it too. So I'm also going to take some of this and we're going to run this along the lower lash. Now what I might do is I might blend it out and then add more of this back in to really intensify it. Because sometimes when you blend it away, it blends away, so you lose the shape a little bit. But I'm just kind of taking it to connect to that sort of shape so it really frames out the eye. I'm also only going 2/3 of the way in, just so it picks the eye up a little bit and pulls it upwards. Going all the way along kind of rounds it off again. Okay, so now I am taking a 239S from MAC, just a flat shader brush, because it's on the flat like this bit, it's actually quite thin. So I'm actually going to start on my lower lash line just to follow that sort of shape going. If it blends inwards, that's fine. I just didn't directly blend any colour in there with the pencil. And then I'm going to just very light pressure start pulling that out a little bit. This is a very creamy pencil, which works out quite well. So you just want like a hint of that sort of shape there. I'm actually probably not going to add any more pencil. I'm going to just go in straight with the shadows after this. Okay, so now we're going to get into the actual palette. I know, first impressions, and I haven't even used the palette yet. I'm going to take the shade Marquee, which is this super, super dark burgundy, mauvey sort of shade, and I'm going to take that on that same 239 just on the very tip, and we're going to basically do our little liner shape again, not out as far as the actual liner that I've blended out, but just to keep the depth going. And you could do it without the liner, but I just feel like it's easier to do this sort of shape with liner first. You have a shape to follow, and also it gives you a bit extra definition and something for the shadows to stick to. And don't worry about blending this, because I'm going to blend it with another shade, so I'm just trying to get, like with the liner, and I'm just trying to get my little shape going. And I'm also running that along the outer third of the lower lash. Well, outer half of the lower lash. Really close to the lashes. Kind of thinking, I don't know if I'm going to actually use the shimmer, because this has gone like further across than I thought it was originally going to, but I actually love it, so I don't really want to change it. So we might just be doing an all matte look with a bit of shimmer on the inner corner. So I'm going to take Big Fig next, which is the most mauvey transition shade out of them all. Well, this one up here also is, but I'm going to take a little bit of this on a 221 from MAC, which is just a smaller blending brush, a bit more precise. We're going to basically go along the edge of that darker shade that we popped down and start blending that out so we can really get a good blend from that liner. We're just always following along the shape of the liner so we don't lose that. And then the same shade on the same brush, and we're just going to do the same on the lower lash. Just follow along the whole eye. Even the bottom of the wing out here. I know some people like to really sharpen that. I like it smoky. I feel like it flows a little bit better for the lower lash line. Okay, so I may still finesse and add more of the dark shade back in and all that kind of jazz, but I haven't set my eyeshadow primer because I never do. But now it's starting to crease a little because it's been on me so long. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the softest shade in the whole palette. Not the whole palette, but the softest mauvey shade. This one here, it's called Big Mauves Palette. Can't talk. So we're going to take that on a big fluffy brush. This is a BH Cosmetics Rose Gold number 5. Big, massive fluffy brush. And we're just going to run this through the socket. Just to give us like a nice mauvey hint up here as well. And to also take away the tackiness of the primer. And I'm just using whatever's left on the brush just to really give us a nice soft edge around down here. I'm not worried about the colour or anything like that. I'm just getting us a nice blend. Okay, so this is the kind of look that like really, like it looks really nice like this as well, but really comes together once you've got your mascara and everything on. I don't know why, it just really comes together. So last little step, as I said, I'm not really going to use the shimmer. I was going to use this one, the a la mode, this one, but I don't really know where to put it with this, because I think if I put it on the lid it'll kind of ruin the effect of it just being like a really smoky liner. I don't know, I kind of just want to use this one, which is Mauve on Top, which is the Super Shock. Look how shiny that is. It's not like the lightest inner corner highlight ever. I'm pretty sure it's a Super Shock anyway, but it's super reflective and I just think it'll look very pretty. So this is going to go on this inner corner. Whoa, okay, so that is shiny. Hang on. Let me take a little bit off my finger. So just like that, just to give us a nice little bit of grunge, but also because it's a darker kind of inner corner highlight, but still lovely sparkle. Okay, so I think I'm going to jump off. I'm going to do my mascara. I'll probably do that same liner on my waterline. And I'm not going to do a wing liner because it'll ruin the effect of the smokiness. We'll just do a nice kind of wingy lash. So I'll come back and I'll show you what I use on the rest of my face. Okay guys, so this is how I finish off the look. I'm so happy with how this turned out. I feel very like sultry, glam, quite into mauvey tones at the minute. We're going to get into what I used on the face. So to finish off the eyes, I just used that liner again, the aubergine liner, the sleek one, on my waterline just to go with the tones, keep it all in the family. And then for my mascara, I went in with my Soap and Glory Thick and Fast mascara, just on my top and my bottom lashes. And I wanted quite full, but also kind of wispy to kind of wing out the shape of my eyelashes. So I went in with my House of Lashes Iconic Minis, just to really give me the fullness mostly on this outer corner to really amp up that outer wing. Onto the cheeks then, I used my Fenty Beauty Cheeks Out Freestyle Cream Bronzer in the shade Amber, and I use that to contour up my face. Bronzer, but more of a contour kind of tone. For blush then, I actually went quite pink. I went in with my Benefit Bella Bamba blusher, and it's quite pink. I just wanted a nice rosy sort of flush to the cheek, especially with the cooler tones on the eye. And then, as I said, I was going to use my Super Shock cheek. This is the shade Flexitarian from Colourpop, and super reflective, super shiny, gives a beautiful wet look to the skin. And then lips, I knew I wanted to go mauve. I just did, I couldn't help it. So I went in with my MAC lip pencil in the shade Plum, line my lips and fill them all in. It's kind of a plummy brown, leans a little bit more into the brown. So this guy I put on top. This is the NYX Soft Matte Lip Cream in the shade Vienna, which is more of like a cooler toned, more like the tones that's up here on the lip. So the balance of the two, the kind of brownier plum and then this cooler plum, goes really well. Alright, so that is everything that is on my face. That is everything for this look, and that is the Making Mauves palette from Colourpop. I love this palette. I think it's very pretty. Like, would I have gone for the Or Kid You Not if it had been launched when I bought this? Probably over this, because this just has a little bit more neutral in than I usually would go for. I'd probably go for one or two more mauvey sort of shades. I love there's a Super Shock in here because I love that formula. That's what I use in my inner corner. This is a sequin shade. It's like a brown that has like a pink and a silver reflect through it. But I'm gonna imagine when I do my two looks, I'll probably use this, that it's not gonna stick, so it'll be mostly matte. So then therefore these two are actually very similar when they're on the eye, because when I swatched them they were very similar. Do I necessarily need this one? No, because I have so many shades. I thought you can always use your face powder for that kind of color. I do really like this though, because this has a bit of a lilac to it, which I use more in the crease out here. I don't know, I love it, but I would improve it. Is it in my top 10? Absolutely not. Is it a bad palette? Absolutely not. The colours blend beautifully and I love this dark shade here, but I haven't really gotten into the shimmers properly. I just use that in my inner corner. So my two looks, I'll probably do something with the actual shimmers and see how we get on. So I want to know what your thoughts are down below. Do you have this palette? If not, do you want this palette? If you do have this palette, what are your thoughts on the palette? What kind of looks do you tend to do with it? Is it your perfect little mauvey neutral palette? I would probably like a bit more mauve, a bit more grunge. That's just my kind of style. So I want to know what your thoughts are down below, and also what you thought of this look too. I always like to know that. If you did like this video, give me a big thumbs up down below. It's the quickest, simplest and easiest way to give me a little bit of support, to get me around to more people, and also let me know that you like the video, and I will continue to do many more. Also hit subscribe down below to see many more coming up. We will have a 2 looks 1 palette using this palette. Very exciting. I don't really know what I'm going to do yet. I'm kind of just winging it with these. Winging it. I'm kind of winging it with this kind of palette, because I'm just kind of diving in and seeing how I feel as I go along with it. And I've also got many more palettes coming up for the rest of the year. I've kind of counted, I've still got a lot to do. And as I said in the beginning, my Instagram is linked down below, where I'll be posting all the pictures of this look soon. I don't know when, because I'm trying to backlog myself. I've got a backlog of stuff that I forgot to post, so I want to post it, and then I'll get around to these sort of looks, but you will see it coming up soon. And also go follow my TikTok down below, where I do some weird funny transition. Okay, I think that is everything from me, so I will see you in the next video, guys. Bye.